What's up, everybody? Let's just make sure that the YouTube is awake, and then we will be. Yeah, there it is. There it is. It's a happening. Boom. All right. All right. All righty. What's up, everybody? Happy Tuesday. It is May 5th, the Cinco de Mayo, as some will call it, in this quarantined year of our Lord 2020. I hope you are staying safe. I hope you are staying home. I hope you are staying well. I hope you are maybe growing some food if you have a living situation that allows you to grow food. Maybe you're learning an instrument. Maybe you're still having to go to work every day, and that's a drag. Whatever your situation is, I hope it's well. I hope you're doing as well as you possibly can. So, Domino's Pizza, they're doing well throughout all this. They've actually been seeing some decent profits amidst this pandemic, and lo and behold, I know this is shocking to hear that major corporations would do this, but they kind of hung their workers out to dry, so to speak. Now, Domino's, the business model of Domino's Pizza, and I don't have any actual evidence backing this up other than my personal experience, by the way, is they will have 1.5 billion specials going on at any given time. They also know that the person calling them is likely already high. And I don't know where they come up with these specials, by the way, but the way it works is you call Domino's, and keep in mind you're probably already stoned, and you go, "Hey, do you guys have any specials going on?" And they have all these random things. You can get 3 4-topping pizzas with 1 set of breadsticks and a cinnamon strudel dumpling for $14.99. All these weird combinations of things. And they have like 55 of them. You can get 6 4-topping pizzas and 7 1-topping pizzas and an 8 cheese pizza for $14.99 plus breadsticks and wings and a 2-liter of soda and a guy named Gary who talks to you throughout your meal. That's a special we got going on now for $25.99. Like, they have all these random things. And after they list all these things, you pick one. Because you're just thinking, they just listed 1.5 billion specials I could get. I don't even need the coupon. They say you need the coupon. You don't really. How can I not pick one of these specials? How can I listen to this big list of things and then go, I'll just take a large with green peppers? You can't do that. So you pick in your altered state one of these specials, and then a little while later, a bunch of food shows up at your door, and it's way more than one person needs. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say I've never done this before. Of course I have. Can I tell you I'll never do it again in the future? I can't make that kind of commitment. No, I really can't. I'm a human being. I'm flawed. But last time I did it was a couple years ago, and I got to say, my wife's indifference helped me. This is back when my wife and I were first dating, and I don't know why, but in my head, I thought it would impress her that I just ordered a bunch of Domino's I did not need. I don't know why I thought she would be remotely impressed by this, but she was working at a bar downtown, and her shift was about to end, and I had just gotten home. I think I had a show or something, and I decided to get stoned, so I did. Then I decided I was hungry, so I called Domino's. I listened to their slew of deals. I went for the deal that involved Gary coming to my house and having a conversation. So I get this deal. It's like, 12 pizzas, whatever the hell it was. And then I think I got those garlic knots, whatever the hell they are. So I get this deal, and then I called her, and I even sent her a screenshot of like me and all the pizzas. And I'm like, "Hey, are you hungry?" She said, "No, not really. I'm just getting off of work. I ate at work. I'm not really hungry." And I'm like, "I got all this pizza." Huh? There was in my head, I thought she was going to be impressed. Like, I was the first person who ever utilized a Domino's delivery deal. Like, that had never been done before. I invented it. That was what I thought in my head. I was like, "Look at this. I got a bargain." And she just texted me back. She's like, "Why do you have all that pizza for one person? Like, you just got that for yourself?" And I was like, "Well, it was the deal. If I would have just ordered all this a la carte, it would have been like $2 more expensive." I beat the system. Did you know Domino's offers this? Did you learn something new today? She was not impressed at all. And she didn't come over. She was like, yeah, I'm just going to go home. Have fun with your Domino's. My pizza was enveloped in sadness. I was like, here I am, pining for this girl's attention. And she's just going home. And here I am with all this pizza. And sure, I got meals for the next couple days. But they're all sad meals, not happy meals, Ronald McDonald style. You hear me? But here's what happened. This is a pretty heavy story. Now, here's the deal. The New York Times had to report on this. The New York Times put this out on Sunday, I believe. And this has been going on for a little while now. But here's what happened with Domino's and the worker strike that occurred there.
Good grammar and spelling
are
important.
There's an ad.
But if you want to write essays that
there's
inspire...
an ad before. Yeah, okay. I don't. There we go. So 2 weeks ago, I was told I have coronavirus. I work for Domino's. I deliver pizzas, pastas, and salads. I don't earn a lot at my job, but it's to support my family. So this guy has coronavirus. He's staying at a hotel. He's been quarantined for 10 days. The company needs to pay for his medical bills and hotel bills. And he says they don't care about people, just money. And he's crying. On April 7th, workers at a Domino's franchise went on strike, demanding basic worker protections after their coworker tested positive for coronavirus. For almost a month, the store refused to budge.
Winners and losers here, Maria, and I'm going to tell you about some of the winners. One would be Domino's.
This stock and this company is actually doing very well.
Hi, I'm Lolly, a Domino's franchisee.
Domino's is hiring.
Yo soy a delivery driver.
I'm a delivery driver. Right now, we're on strike. Here's one of my colleagues.
Striking workers turned out to protest at a Domino's pizza shop today, blocking traffic and demanding better conditions.
Workers at an LA Domino's walked off the job because a co-worker tested positive.
There's 5 that have already tested positive for coronavirus, another 9 that have symptoms. Nobody told the workers anything. The workers kept working. They don't think about that. They just want us to go back to work. You had to buy your own gloves and masks. All they're asking for is paid time when they're sick, hazard pay, gloves, masks, proper, and that you tell us when a worker is infected. CDC says the employer needs to let employees know when there's a possible contagion, and Domino's hasn't done any of that. This problem goes far beyond Domino's. A lot of fast food companies have people working under hazardous conditions. This is especially dangerous for us Latinos. In many parts of the country, Latinos are the ones that get the most sick from coronavirus. Only 16% of us can work from home. And now we're feeding people who can't leave their homes. We're at the bottom, the poorest. We can die wherever, and nobody's going to pay attention. So here they are striking. I want to go back to work, but they're not giving me the conditions to go back. So it's very difficult to decide between you and your health or your family. Domino's, you have the power to be a leader. Show us that you care more about our lives than your money. On May 1st, after 6 workers tested positive, the franchise conceded. It offered workers proper PPE, a deep cleaning, and sick pay. Other demands remain unmet, including hazard pay and reimbursement for medical and hotel costs. The workers continue to fight while they're working. This was just one franchise. Nationwide, there are millions of workers who aren't getting basic protections or fair pay. Does it really take a strike for corporations to do what's right? I'll go ahead and answer that question. I will go ahead and answer that question. Yes. Yes, it does take a strike. For these major corporations
to run my old computers with no hard drive. Here it is.
Still all right.
And it's not in this computer.
That's autoplay. Okay. That is autoplay. All right. Didn't know it was going to do that. That is definitely autoplay. But the answer to that question is yes. Yes, it's going to take a strike for a corporation to do what's right. That's the truth. And, I know people like to pretend that's not the case. I know people, I think that, these companies, they value human. No, they don't. No, they do not. McDonald's does not value human lives. Target does not value human lives. Walmart does not value human lives. Amazon certainly does not value human lives. Domino's does not value human lives. They'll give you a value, though, if you're stoned and there's a bunch of... So it took 6 positives and a month and a strike, and they finally conceded to some of the demands. They gave some PPE. They gave some materials for safety and protection. But they're still not giving hazard pay. They're still not reimbursing for medical and hotel costs. So they conceded a little bit, and this is just one franchise. And there's a lot of Domino's. A lot of Domino's, because there's a lot of bargains on that pizza. So, this is good that they got a victory, that they got some concessions here, but man, we got so far to go. And, the answer to that question posed in the New York Times, and I get it, it's the New York Times, so they want to appear neutral. But the answer is yes. When you see that report, and I'm glad that report's out there, the answer to that question is yes. Does it take a strike for a company to do the right thing? Yes. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. If it's a major corporation, it takes a strike. That's why we need a general strike. That's why general strike has received my 2020 endorsement. And, by the way, speaking of endorsements, Liz Warren believes Joe Biden. Let's check this out from the Hill. Warren calls Biden's denial of sexual assault claim credible and convincing, says she proudly supports him. So he's got Liz Warren on his team. Senator Liz Warren of Massachusetts told reporters late Monday she found the presumptive Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden's denial of sexual assault allegations credible and convincing. Warren, whose name has been floated as a possible Biden running mate, I wonder if she knows that. Do you guys think she realizes that? Do you think Liz is aware of this? I'm sure she just genuinely feels this way, though. I'm sure she digested all the information in a totally unbiased manner and was like, well, I believe him. I'm convinced. He sounds very convincing. Whenever he talks, he's so sure of everything he's saying. You know the thing. I'm sure that's the conclusion she came to. Here's what I have to say about all that. So Liz Warren, she believes Joe Biden. Here's what I have to say. Liz Warren believes Joe Biden. And the other thing nobody is talking about is one time in her TP, Tara Reid told her she didn't think a woman could ever be president. There you go. All right. Good job, Liz Warren. All right. So let's go to Los Angeles. So this happened in Los Angeles. And it's still happening in Los Angeles. So there was an activist named Devon who showed up at a hotel in Los Angeles. And he said that, there's a no vacancy LA movement saying that we need to house the unhoused. And these hotels are sitting vacant. We need to house people in these hotels. Parts of California are doing that. Some parts of LA are doing that. Other countries are doing that. We need to amplify this. And this gentleman named Devon, he got a hotel room. He refused to leave. I think he I think people thought he was a celebrity and that's how he got in or something like that. I'm not sure of all the backstory, but he got into a hotel room. And here's what unfolded. So it got some press, and the mayor of LA, Eric Garcetti, told the media that there's a room for Devon. There's like, yep, this is happening. We're trying to house everyone. There's a room for Devon. Tonight, the mayor of LA told the media there's a room for Devon and said there was not a demand for vacant rooms. 60,000 unhoused Angelenos would disagree. Here's what Stavin's response is.
Got a room for me, right? Where is it? Because the cops are on the way to arrest me for being homeless. Once again, they already framed me for battery. It might happen again. And they had a nice little green toy gun you look happy to use. So talk to me. Commandeer or what? Commandeer or we will continue.
So he was saying, well, the information I got was the police are on their way to arrest me. Man, that's a lot of mixed signals, isn't it? Hey, we got a room for you. Oh, really? I heard the cops are on their way to arrest me. That's a lot of, I travel a lot and never have those signals been crossed for me. Never has there been, oh, wait, we're going to arrest you. We don't have a room. Just kidding. But let's see what happened. Oh, not a good ending. While the mayor of LA told the press that he has a hotel room for Devon, his cops were forcefully removing Devon and supporters from a vacant hotel room. Devon was shackled face to a wall at Central Station before being kicked back to the streets. So I guess Devon was right. The mayor was like, hey, we got a room for this guy. The cameras are on. We got a room for him. Devon saying, I heard the cops were on their way to arrest me. I don't know if I'm going to get to stay here. Looks like Devon was right. Here we go. There's the cops. They're arresting supporters, arresting the people protesting with them. And that's what happens. So that occurred. And now, so as far as we know, that Devon is back on the streets along with so many others here in the LA area. All right, now here's another tweet confirming this. 3 days ago, mayor of LA lied to the media. There's a hotel room for him when asked about Devon peacefully trying to shelter at a vacant hotel that received $270 million in public money. That's a fun little detail, isn't it? They received $270 million in public money. Garcetti's cops evicted Devon from the hotel that night and kicked him back to the streets. And there's a picture of him directly being escorted out of the hotel and sent back to the streets. Now, here's something that the mayor of LA said today, or it was recently. It might have been yesterday, but well, we'll see the date on the tweet soon enough. It was yesterday. All right. So here's something the mayor of LA tweeted out yesterday. We have signed a contract with a hotel in downtown LA to deliver more than 460 new rooms for Project Roomkey, bringing our total to more than 3,000 hotel-motel rooms across the country. This is a major milestone in our efforts. Every room can help save a life. So this is good news. This is good news, but simultaneously, the mayor shouldn't be able to lie when it's convenient for him when the cameras are on. When an activist gets some media attention and you say you're going to house the guy so that it looks good on you, meanwhile, you're kicking the guy to the streets. You're lying when the cameras are on, saying you're housing a guy. You're not housing the guy, and we got photographic evidence that you're not housing the guy. So this is good. This is a start. But here's the response to this. What the mayor of LA continues to avoid saying is that Project Roomkey is only for unhoused people who are sick or over 65. Young unhoused people like Devon are still 3 to 4 times more likely to get COVID than house folks. All unhoused people need a room now. Your goal should be 60,000 rooms. So they're saying we need about 60,000. They're at about 3. So still a lot to be desired. And another response here to the mayor. Don't be fooled by a trickle of good news. This gain still leaves LA County 12,000 rooms short of its goal and 33,000 Angelenos on the street. Every room is a saved life. Mayor of LA chooses to leave tens of thousands to die rather than commandeer the rooms needed to house them. So that's what's happening right now. You know, here in LA, which by the way, California, 5th largest GDP in the world. 5th largest GDP in the world. And how does it get to be that way? Because of workers. Because of workers. Because as we're really finding out now, even more than ever before, we know what the true backbone of society is. We really know. We really know what's essential and what isn't now, don't we? And by the way, 44% of homeless people have jobs. 44% are working, and they still can't afford a home. And now they're outside during a pandemic, and they are at a much greater risk because of it. And they're saying our goal should be 60,000. We need at least, it looks like we need at least 15,000 rooms. They're saying they got about 3. They're saying that's at least 12 shy. We need at least 15,000 rooms. Goal should be shooting for 60 to make sure we have more than enough. And Mayor Garcetti's going, well, we got like 486 here. We're up to 3 now. We're up to 3 now. So how many more situations is a young person going to have to get into a hotel room and then get some media attention, and then the mayor's going to have to lie about housing that person when they actually kick them out of the hotel room? How many more times are they going to have to do that before we get to our target goal here? I mean, so let's see. If it gets you up to 3,000 by doing it once, so we got to do that at least 4 or 5 more times, basically. We got to do that like at least like we do that 4 times. 4 times 3 is 12. So let's let's make sure we give ourselves a little buffer. Let's say 5 times. And we won't even count the first. So it will be 6 in total. We'll say 5 more times. Give us a little buffer. So that way we're pretty sure we'll get to, because what if one time someone does it and the rooms don't increase? What if one time somebody does that moment of activism and it doesn't work because the mayor's like, well, last time we got 3,000 rooms, but then they don't get more rooms. What if that happens? Then you're stuck. So that's what's happening in Los Angeles. And it's a little bit of good news because there are more rooms, yes, but you also have a mayor who's lying to the people about how they're treating the homeless. You also have a guy who was thrown out on the streets, and many others are in that same situation. So we still have a long way to go. And shout out to Street Watch LA for putting the pressure on, because if it wasn't for organizations like Street Watch LA and the Fight for 15 LA and all these other organizations fighting for the unhoused, we wouldn't have even gotten this far. You think Mayor Garcetti did this because he's a nice guy? No, he did it because he had to. He did it because there was so much pressure from people and activists that he had no choice. All right. So here's some more news concerning California. It's a California tinge today. I don't know, but this is actually happening right now. Literally right now. This is breaking. This is from Fight for the Future. So check this out. California, red alert. Assemblyman Ed Chow is poised to take away your privacy rights with facial recognition. The vote is today at 11:30. So that vote is pretty much happening right now. It's pretty much happening right now. And this is an ACLU petition. I myself have signed this petition. Take action to oppose AB 2261 by Assemblyman Ed Chow. Invasive surveillance and discrimination has no place in our coronavirus response. Well, here, let's take a look at the petition. We'll go ahead and read through some of it. I personally have signed it. Every decision we make during the crisis matters. Our choices will define our lives for decades to come. Our coronavirus response should be grounded in science and by public health professionals, not driven by reckless businesses and aggressive government agencies. That's why we're mobilizing to stop a dangerous facial recognition bill making its way through the California legislature. Just as the horror of 9/11 was exploited to justify greater suspicion and spying, the current pandemic is being used to support new intrusions on our rights and liberties. AB 2261 will create a world where your daily life could be continuously tracked by facial recognition systems, and you could be turned away from healthcare, businesses, housing, and employment opportunities based solely on a scan of your face. Well, let's go to the bill itself, shall we? Here's the bill. So let's check this out. The bill would require a processor as defined that provides facial recognition services to, among other things, make available an application programming interface or other technical capability chosen, blah, blah, blah. The bill would grant to an individual the right to confirm if a controller has enrolled an image or facial template. The bill would require an agency The bill would require an agency defined as a state or local public entity using or intending to develop, procure, or use a facial recognition service to produce reports regarding the use of that service, including an accountability report for that system. The bill would require an agency to clearly communicate that accountability report to the public at least 90 days before the agency puts the service into operational use. Post the report on the internet website of the agency and submit the report to an unspecified agency that is required to post each report on its internet website. The bill will require the report to include specified elements, including the name of facial recognition service, vendor, and version and a description of its general capabilities and limitations. So this makes you think that there's a bunch of transparency. This is a nice sounding paragraph. Report is in there a bunch of times. I don't know how many times I said the word report, but I think it was at least a bunch. And it makes you think, man, they're really, that's okay. But let's really break it down. The bill would require an agency defined as a state or local public entity using to intent, blah, 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 to produce reports regarding the use of that service, including an accountability report for that system. They need to clearly post a report on the internet website of the agency. How many people, as a hobby, go to their local police's website? I'm going to go to the LA police website. I'm going to go to the NYPD website to see what they're doing in terms of facial recognition. How many people do that besides zero? Hey, I wonder how they're infringing on our civil liberties today. I'm going to go look at a report on their website. No one's going to do that except for you're hoping that a couple journalists uncover this stuff and don't let this story die. And good luck with that, because I don't believe facial recognition has barely, I don't know of any time that it's been covered in the corporate media. I'm sure there's been a few, for instances, where it has. I don't know under what capacity. Every now and again, you see a report about the concerns of Ring, and they're downplaying how dangerous it actually is. By the way, Ring, the Amazon Ring, they have contracts with law enforcement. We don't even know what's in all those contracts, but basically law enforcement are able to take all of the video surveillance from Ring. So if everyone has a Ring on their front door, guess what law enforcement can survey? An entire neighborhood all the time at any given moment. And this facial recognition technology that's supposed to help us and keep us safer, there's no evidence linking that it's ever done anything like that. It's actually wrong about 98% of the time. It's especially wrong when it comes to Black people and people of color and other minority groups. It's especially wrong there. Wrongfully accused people have been arrested. Wrongfully identified and accused people have been sent to other countries they've never been to before because of this bogus technology. The databases are easily hacked, and that has happened before. There have been a couple customs offices where databases have been hacked, where they have this information with a person's face. I wonder what could happen there if it got into the wrong hands. Let's just think about that for a second. Someone has a bunch of sensitive information about a person as well as their face, and it's a photo that was taken by a customs agency. So it's a photo that looks like an official photo you would see on a license or a passport, et cetera, et cetera. I wonder what could happen there if that information gets in the wrong hands. Gee. And basically all they're saying, like, well, they got to put something on their website about it. They can report it however they want to. They can bury it wherever they want to on their website, as long as it's there and there's this 90-day window. So unless someone's going to sleuth through that stuff, we don't really know what these organizations are doing. And by the way, all they're really talking about here is transparency. They don't have any rules as far as what you can and can't do. The bill will require, among other things, an agency using a facial recognition service to make decisions that produce legal effects concerning individuals or similarly significant effects concerning individuals to ensure those decisions are subject to meaningful human review. But who's reviewing it? They are. So basically, in other words, they need to provide some lip service to justify whatever they do. So all they're required to do, provide some lip service justifying whatever it is they're going to do. That lip service will be reviewed by their peers. And they need to post something on a website, their website, within 90 days. Just something saying, this is what we did, this is what it does. That's all. That's all that's in this bill. Other than that, facial recognition, have fun. Have fun. Oh, and if they don't do this, they'll get fined. The bill would subject a violation to its judges civil penalty of not more than $2,500 for each violation, and not more than $7,500 for each intentional violation, which I'm sure that would never happen. Because whenever there's a violation, I'm sure they're going to say, well, it was an accident, and then they get a $2,500 slap on the wrist. That's what will happen. Gee, I wonder... I wonder why the ACLU is totally opposed to this bill. I can't imagine. It looks great. It looks great. It looks great. Hey, we're really concerned about, so, cops can use facial recognition, even though it's never helped in getting a bad guy. It doesn't keep us safer. It's actually just been completely abused so far, and it's completely Orwellian and disturbing. And you can see reports from everywhere, from LA to London and everywhere in between. But they got to post stuff on a website when they do things concerning facial recognition. Well, what can they do? Well, whatever they want to do. They just have to justify it, and their peers will be like, yeah, that checks out. And then they post it on a website within 90 days. And if you don't do that, $2,500. Do you feel safe? Brilliant. So that vote's happening right now. Let's see. Here, let's go ahead and Google the bill. See if that's literally happening right now as of the recording of this. So by the time you're seeing this clip, it might, the dust might already be settled. We'll see. Yeah, nothing as of yet. It's too soon because it's literally only been going on. But hey, here again. Here's the ACLU, the link to the ACLU petition that you can go ahead and sign. Facial recognition will only make this crisis worse, which is true. All right. Well, there you have it. We got some good news. We actually got some really good news, which also brings me to the song of the day. Song of the day is going to be by a band called the Teen Idols. The Teen Idols that goes back to 1979. It was the first band that Ian MacKaye was in before Minor Threat. A lot of people don't know he was in a band before Minor Threat, but he was. That band was the Teen Idols. And the song that's going to be the song of the day is just their self-titled track, Teen Idols. Teen Idols, Teen Idols. Fucking bored to tears. Teen Idols, wasted 20 years. Teen Idols, doing nothing all day. Teen Idols, nothing to do anyway. Hanging out at a record shop, go to the concert, the boredom would stop. I went to the bio, they said, no, you're not 18, you can't see the show. Because they were under 18 when they were making this raucous punk rock and roll in their garages in Washington, D.C. Little did they know that they'd start a label that would last 35 years and counting. Why is Teen Idols the song of the day? Other than the fact that it's just music I enjoy. Because this is happening. And shout out to Long Beach for bringing this to my attention. Legendary punk label Dischord Records puts entire catalog online for free. Punk rock label of note Dischord has made their entire 40-year catalog of music available on Bandcamp for free. While free, they're hoping listeners will chip in to support the artists. Bandcamp has waived their sales fees for 3 months so that all the money will go to the artists. From the piece on Far Out magazine, while the foundations of punk music have multiple different influencers, seminal Washington, D.C. punk label Dischord have always had their say. the independent label, co-owned by Ian MacKaye and Jeff Nelson, founded the company in 1980 in order to release Minor Disturbance by the Teen Idols. From there, Dischord focused on a nationwide network of underground bands and continues to spearhead the punk movement with their uncompromising approach to the music industry. Here's what Ian MacKaye has to say. We don't use contracts, lawyers, any of those kinds of things, says Ian MacKaye. We are partners. They make the music. We make the records. Nelson, echoing MacKaye's sentiment, added, from the beginning of this label, people have said that the way we do things is unsustainable, unrealistic, idealistic, and we were just dreaming, he said. Well, the dream is now 35 years old, so they can go fuck themselves. And just to be clear, the catalog is free to listen to online, but if you want to download the records, you still have to pay for that. But you can stream an entire 40-year catalog from Dischord Records. Am I going to stream the whole thing? Probably. Yeah. At once? No. But I have some of the compilations, but there's some of the earlier ones, the ones where Minor Threat's on there, Fugazi's on there. So I guess it wasn't super early because Fugazi came a little later, but it's early comparatively speaking because we're going back about 10, 20 years at least. But that's pretty cool. And Dischord Records still putting out music. Ian MacKaye still won't come on the show. I've been trying to get him. And I get responses. It's not from him. It's from, whoever manages his appearances over at Dischord. And they're like, look, he's not doing interviews right now, which I'm still trying to get Ian MacKaye to do this show. It has not happened yet, but fingers crossed. And man, I remember when I got that Teen Idols EP. So I got their EP. I found it at a record store. And I didn't really know what it was. I just knew that I wanted to listen to some punk rock music. And I'd heard about a band called Fugazi. And the Teen Idols LP was labeled as related to Fugazi, which made sense because it was Ian MacKaye's first band before Minor Threat and even further back before Fugazi. But so I got the EP and I remember I put it into my portable CD player. And I just remember being like, wow. I remember thinking, I didn't know music like this could be made. I didn't know music like this happened. Because this sounds like something me and my buddies can make in our garage in a good way. Like this is just blissful, beautiful young people who are in the suburbs yearning to break free, who want something more, who want to get out of their town and do something creative, who want to go to the rock and roll show, but they can't because they're too young, who want to just be kids and have fun and run around. And I could relate to it as a fellow kid stuck in the suburbs in the mid-Atlantic region. I could relate to that. You were yearning for freedom, yearning for, man, give me a driver's license, give me something. Give me a garage band so I can just strum on a distorted guitar to feel a little bit better. I'm going to skateboard in this parking lot until they kick us out because even that has a problem. You can't do that even. I can relate to these guys. And I remember hearing that music and thinking like, man, I just found something really freaking special. And then I would play it for some of my friends and they'd be like, I don't get it. Some of them did. Some of them got it. A lot of them not so much. But anyway, shout out to Dischord. You can find Dischord's entire catalog for free on Bandcamp, which is pretty freaking cool. Let me see what you guys are saying. And then we will dismount from the show today. By the way, Graham Elwood and I have another show happening this Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, over on Zoom. You can get tickets at my website, ronflacone.com. They're just $5. And what happens is you grab your ticket online, and then you'll get a Zoom link sent to your inbox about an hour before showtime. And again, that show is at 8 p.m. Eastern time, 5 p.m. Pacific, over on Zoom. They're a fun time. We do a comedy show via Zoom. It's a great time. I highly recommend considering it. And again, ronflacone.com for those tickets. Guys, if you are on stable ground financially, patreon.com/ronflacone for a give what you can level. You get all kinds of exclusive content, including my album in its entirety. You also get dialogues between myself and my cat Lucy before they're illustrated. You get video clips not available anywhere else, stand-up clips not available anywhere else. I do a Zoom show for patrons once a week. Once a week, I do a Zoom show just for patrons. And I also do a patrons-only stream where I respond directly to the patrons. And that's all for a give what you can level. Even $1 a month goes a long way if you are on stable grounds and are so able. If you're not, hey, I totally understand. We're all in this together. And please keep tuning in, because this is a crazy time. It's a rough time. And all we got is the solace of each other to feel a little less alone, to navigate the craziness of the world. Please find that ACLU petition and please give it your signature. If you are concerned about facial recognition in California, I know I sure am. And we'll be back tomorrow. Same time, same channel, 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. In the meantime, you know the drill. Lucy says meow. I say peace. Peace.